The world of ancient Rome, it was polytheistic. Romans believed in and honored multiple gods. The most important of these gods were the deconsentes, 6 gods and 6 goddesses. These 12 deities were the Roman equivalent of the Greek Olympian gods. In Roman religion, the first of these 12, the god of gods, is Jupiter, god of the sky. His wife is Juno, goddess of marriage and women. We have Mars, god of war. You might pray to him if you're a soldier heading off to battle. And Venus, goddess of love. You might pray to her to find true love. There's Neptune, god of the sea. You'd pray to him if you're a sailor. And Minerva, you might turn to her if you need to strategize about something. If you're looking for inspiration or an answer about the future, or if you or a loved one is sick, you might turn to Apollo. He's the god of light and healing and prophecy. You might pray to Diana, goddess of the moon and wild animals, before heading out on the hunt. And if you're about to embark on a journey or maybe a new business venture, you might pray to Mercury, the god of travel and money. If you're a farmer, you might offer to Ceres, goddess of the grain and the harvest. And if you're a metal worker, you might ask Vulcan, god of fire and the forge, to help you craft the best armor in the whole Roman Empire. And rounding out the 12 is Vesta, goddess of the home and the hearth fire, both the public hearth fire of Rome, which was inside a temple in the Roman Forum, and the private hearth fires that burned in the homes of all Romans. You'd pray to Vesta for the health and the safety of your home and those in it, and also to light the darkness with her sacred flame. I'm Deborah May McLeod, an author of historical fiction, and particularly the ancient priesthood of the Vestal Virgins. These were the priestesses of Vesta, those women who cared for the goddess's fire in her temple. And in this video, I'm presenting just a very, very quick introduction to the religion of ancient Rome. Because, of course, there was much more to each of the deities I've just mentioned, and there were many more deities in Rome. But suffice it to say, there was something of a balance to the gods and goddesses. They represented the various aspects of the world and of the human condition, life and death, war and peace, joy and suffering. There were gods that roused men to war and goddesses that comforted women during childbirth. Gods were integral to the family unit and to social order. They were part of everything: the trees, the water, the wine, the fire. Religion also connected Rome to its past. By worshiping the gods of their ancestors, Rome maintained a certain identity, tradition, custom. These were highly valued. Moreover, the ancient Romans believed that Rome's well-being, even its survival, it hinged on maintaining the favor of the gods, and for that reason, religion was inherently connected to the state. Public and private rituals that honored the gods, they were deemed necessary to maintain the Pax Deorum. That's the peace of the gods, and it's essentially a pact between Rome and the gods, where Romans performed certain rituals in exchange for the gods' protection. These rituals included animal sacrifice. Typically, a hand-raised animal was led to the altar and dispatched by trained victimari. It all had to go smoothly, since the animal had to go willingly to the god. Parts of the animal were then placed on the altar fire as an offering, and the rest was consumed by people, perhaps in a banquet. Yet there were many ways to honor the gods: rituals, ceremonies, festivals, and all kinds of public and private offerings. To honor Vesta at home, people offered bread or wine into their family's hearth fire at mealtime. Meanwhile, the Vestal Virgins in the temple offered a variety of things into Rome's sacred hearth fire: salted flour, incense, pine cones, fruit, olive oil, and wine. They performed a variety of prayers and rites, because their job was to keep the fire going at all times and to keep the goddess happy. That's because a vital element of maintaining that Pax Deorum, it involved maintaining the eternal flame of the goddess Vesta. If her fire was neglected, or if it went out, Rome would lose Vesta's favor and the protection of the divine. That's why the order of the Vestal Virgins was so important to the Roman state, and why the state so generously funded the Vestal order. The life of a Vestal Virgin was a pretty interesting one, and if you want to learn more about it, you can watch my videos on the pros and the cons of being a Vestal Virgin. As with all the gods and goddesses, there were rituals and festivals associated with Vesta. On March 1st of every year, the sacred fire was renewed in the temple, and in June, we have the Vestalia, or the Festival to Vesta. This celebrated the goddess, and it also gave the women of Rome an opportunity to enter the temple and to see the sacred fire with their own eyes. The Vesta priestesses were also involved in the rites of other gods and goddesses, including Mars and Ops, the goddess of plenty, and they were responsible for making the sacred wafers that were used in various sacrifices and rituals, and you've seen these wafers, by the way. The Catholic Church turned them into communion wafers. The Vestals were entrusted with other duties too, including safeguarding vital state documents like the emperor's last will and testament, and even delivering that to the Senate upon his death. So that's a really brief look at the massive subject of ancient Roman religion and why it was so connected to the state. Yet despite this interconnectedness, it's important to know that the actual laws of Rome, the legal system itself, as it applied to its citizens, that was fundamentally secular. There was civil law and contract law, and these didn't have much to do with gods. Indeed, many principles of ancient Roman law helped shape the legal system of our Western societies, and that's one reason why you see so many Latin words and phrases in the law. Because maintaining the law, maintaining order, maintaining the strength and the safety of the state, that was Rome's ultimate concern, and that meant, first and foremost, maintaining the peaceful accord between the people of Rome and the gods of Rome.